I create my own consultancy firm under my name, Piero Gandini. And since then, I'm just doing that. I'm working with companies, we're working with individuals, helping them in transformation and helping the companies and they want to do something better for the planet, for the people, from the world. I don't want to work with companies that only want to make money. I want, if they want to make money, fair enough, but I want them to contribute something else. And that's what I'm doing in the last years. And the latest changes of my life, just to share this part, I moved to the Netherlands 3 years ago in the middle of the pandemic. And I moved with the family because my kids were teenagers and we wanted them to have a bit more open society, more egalitarian, more open to diversity, more opportunities. So we just moved. We didn't know anybody in this country. We just took the decision and we moved. And the downside of that is we moved in the middle of the pandemic. So it was not the best time to move. However, we were very happy that we did that move because it brings a lot of energy for the family. So that's who I am. That's what I'm doing. So I'm doing a lot of mentoring, also individual mentoring to people that want to see something else in life, to change the way to think, or to realize all the potential they have. And this is what I'm going to talk today. The idea is that I go with a little flow of the presentation, a lot of graphical ideas. I stop for Q&A. If somebody has a burning question in the middle, just raise their hand or put something in the chat. I will ask Anna's, in case I don't see it, please just flag it to me. And then at the end, we have question and answer, open. People that need to leave, they can leave, and I can stay with longer if people need other questions. Okay? So let me just share my screen, and then we go. Then we go. Okie dokie. So, yeah, now you're seeing. Perfect. Think different and do different. And again, what I say, it's difficult today means not difficult, but it's a challenge because many of you, or at least environment where you move, is about binary thinking. And what I want to try with you is to think about non-binary thinking. So the first exercise we are going to talk, it's about the classic example that we all know. We all have seen this one. The glass half full or half empty. Yeah? Just switch off the camera, everyone, please. Off. No camera, including myself. And those who believe the glass is half empty, please turn the camera. Those who see the glass half empty, please turn the camera. Thank you. You can switch it off again. Those who see the glass half full, please turn the camera on. Oh, we have an optimist group here. That's fantastic. Great, great. Let's switch it off again. Off. Is there anybody that see another option that is not this 2-1? If somebody see the life different, could you please turn on your camera? Excellent. Wow, we have 2 people. Great. 3. Do you want to share a little bit? How do you see life? Why is not only half empty, half full? Just open the microphone and say a couple of words. Yes. Satha? Yeah.
Shadra, you are muted.
Thanks, Osama. Life is more than just a cup. It could be a cup, a pot, a vase, and a dish as well. So you can't just keep looking at the cup. This is one part of your life. Look at the other parts of your life. Nothing is going to be perfect. Perfection is impossible. If you look at one area of your life, then you're not going to be satisfied at all. You need to look at your life from far as a general. You have your social, you have your professional, and you have your, maybe let's just say, love life. They all complete each other. They all give you a somehow full cup and full experience of life itself.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Who else we have there? Fadi.
I mean, you always have to have a positive mindset and but at the same time, you have to be realistic and you have to set goals that you can achieve. So you have to be realistic. You have to look at the half empty, half full. You can't have one without the other.
Okay. Thank you. That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, the people that want to turn the camera on, please feel free. Now we can just continue. And the binary thinking, it's something that is constructed by society, is constructed by our parents, is constructed by us, and it's always in our work the same. So we always have this between two, A or B, yes or not, light or dark, tall and short, and so on and so forth. But what happened in between? What happened in between? There is the space between yes and no, it's a maybe, it's perhaps, somewhere, whatever, is bigger. Yeah? But we are not accustomed to that. So one of the things we need to do to start thinking different is to recognize that we think in a binary way, and we need to change and challenge that. By the way, I'm also see life in a different way, not only half full and half empty. I'm going to share my screen again. Yeah, here we are. Yes. I'm agree with I'm a similarly the first person. I also see something different. Yeah. This is my glass half full because I'm an optimist. But also there are other people that see different way, similar to what Fadi was saying other people. You have the person that say this is liquid and this is gas. Or you have people with mentality of surrealist or the relativist or the utopians. Even the artists are there. You see? So that's the way, a simple example that we all listen all the time. They have many other components because it's not binary. It's open up beyond that. Next one. I'm going for numbers. Today I have a lot of numbers. I don't know why. A lot of numbers as an example. So this one, okay? This is a binary example. Very easy. Yeah? And you will say, okay, I know the answer. So some people say, yeah, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Simple. That's it. Linear, no problem. But the other people with the mentality, they have a different way to see it. Some people will say, this is the answer. Or other people will say, no, maybe this is the answer. Who knows? Maybe other people will say, you know what? I'm really like out of the box. So for me, it's like, this is 3. The answer is 3. Yeah? I have the tendency to go even farther than that. And I like to say like 1 plus 1 is green. Or green, because there are different shapes of green, isn't it? If we're thinking about binary, we need to even expand our answer. Or even this one, if you want to challenge a little bit more. Wow. 1 plus 1 green. I see green. I don't know what you see, but for me, I see green. Anyhow, the talk today, the idea is then, okay, Piero, how can we help ourselves to think and do something different? Yeah? This is where we're going now. But before I go there, any question, any comment, quick one. If somebody want to say something, somebody want to comment, I just continue. Somebody? Okay. So let's continue. We say again, how can we help us, ourselves, to think and do differently? Yeah? And today, for me, there are two options. Yeah? The first option is to unlearn and deconstruct. And the second is to boost the 3C. Okay? I'm going there. Just be with me. Let's go for the first one. To unlearn and deconstruct, then we need to realize that we see life through filters. Everything that I see is through the filter that I have. It's like when you go to the doctor and they start seeing, which lens you should use. It's exactly the same for us. We see the reality based in our experiences, based in our background, based in where we live, based where we were born, and so on and so forth. And we have a lot of biases, stereotypes, beliefs, social norms, and everything this, etc., is the one that if we don't challenge and start to unlearn that, it's going to be difficult for us to start think and do something different. Yeah? And this is not a simple methodology. There is no like, oh, okay, just teach me the methodology, Piero. No. It's first be aware of, and then decide which of these biases or beliefs that are not anymore in use for you, you want to challenge. No? And personally, I have been in many of these challenges, from people from different sexual orientation, for people with different mentalities, from generalization of people coming from one culture to another culture. All these, I need to challenge myself to be able to see the bigger picture and start to think different. But nobody can say this for me. If I will tell you, you need to change, you need to start looking to people in a different way, nobody, none of you, not even myself, will do it. Because nobody wants us to tell us what to do. We want people to tell us, hey, tell me something and I will decide how to do it and when I want to do it. So remember, we have the filter, everything, but we have the capacity to change the filter. But let's move to the 3C. Yeah? The 3Cs are, I'm going to tell you, are creativity, curiosity, and courage, or be courageous. Okay? Creativity, curiosity, be courageous. There is no specific order, and especially between creativity and curiosity, they are complementary. One triggers the other. But then be courageous, sometimes you require creativity and curiosity to be able to implement. So the be courageous is more the doing part of the thinking different. Okay? When we talk about creativity, there are many ways and many forms of creativity. Yeah? And this is one example of the country where I live now, when you see people very, very creative to be able to move things from A to B. Here in this country, they use bicycle for everything, which is quite interesting and quite fantastic. But let me just share a bit of personal story here from when I was a child. So my mother, she wanted me to be an artist. poor my mother. Huh? She really wanted to have a kid and he was an artist. So she put me in every single school, academy, program, or whatever in art. Painting, modeling, pottery, even music. Oh, and I went to all of them once, twice. The third time, I quit. I don't want. So she moved to another one. So she found a new one. Oh, this one is just the right one for you. Again and again and again and again. And like this, I don't know, maybe 1 year, 2 years, until one person, one brave woman, just told her at one point, madam, don't waste your money. This child is not artistic, so you better put him in in a sport club or something, because there is no art coming from there. So my poor mother was very, sad, but realistically enough, just she quit that. But for me, that always was like something inside myself, like I'm not creative because I'm not artistic, or I don't have artistical skills. No, I'm from Colombia. I know how to dance because I have to dance, but it costs me a lot to be able to dance because my ears are not really done for music. Then I discovered that cooking was the way that I could express my creativity. I'm like, okay, this is something I can create with my hands, because for me, creativity was creating with the hands. Then I say, this is something I can do. So I start cooking. And then the more that I cook, the more that I discover one fundamental truth, which is like, to be creative, I don't need to be original. Okay, I'm going to say again, to be creative, I don't need to be original. That basically I can have other people ideas, other people products, and transform in a creative way. When you cook, you go for the recipe of your grandmother or your mother, and you go for A to C, like ba, 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 ba. You do it the way that it is. When you feel comfortable, you start to add ingredients or take off ingredients or whatever, and you start to make your own thing, like, oh, that's fantastic. So basically that give me also the experience to say, oof, I can do more things with my, yeah, with my creativity. And that's exactly the biggest lesson learned from me along the way, was that my creativity was mostly in my head than in my actions. But it was not creating anything from zero or anything from artistical way. When I work in the humanitarian spectrum, I have to be very creative. For instance, to be able to bring water in one of the refugee camps in Chad, or to conduct vaccination campaign in the desert of Darfur. I have to be so creative because I didn't have resources, because I didn't have enough material or enough people or time. And this is like, I learned that myself, when I have more pressure and less security, and more creative. When I'm calm, I'm less creative. Other people will say the different. I need to stop, to think, to relax, and I will become creative. Yeah. So here three words, and I will repeat. First, to be creative, you don't need to be an artist. Second, creativity doesn't mean you need to be original, because transforming ideas or products is also a creative action. And the most interesting of creativity is to use the brain in a creative way. Yeah. So that's my story, my personal story from when I was a kid, and where I finished now being very creative. So now I practice creative leadership, which is basically helping teams, and my team in that case, to be more creative. So my creativity is also to boost creativity of other people. But even if you are a very linear person, you could be very creative. Yeah. So if you see the example here, these two people are very linear thinkers, and they're still being creative to have the share for the kids. Yeah. So even a small one, you say, oh, that's not creative. That's a lot of creativity there. That's a lot of creativity. But how to boost the creativity? For me, there are many options, many possibilities. I'm going to share with Anas, and he will share with all of you some reading documents later. Also, a different presentation of this. You will see it because it's different. But then the tips that I want to share with you, one important is journaling, writing. It's very important to spark the creativity. You could do it, and hopefully by hand, because it's really produced from the brain to the hand to the paper. It gives a lot of stimuli. 2 years ago, I did a book. I read, but you have to do the book, and it's called the Artist Way. Is to spark the creativity. And she recommends then you do morning pages and you write in the morning minimum 3 pages. And it's fantastic, this exercise. It boosts the creativity, it boosts ideas. It's just fantastic. I did it for a while, 6-9 months. Now I'm not doing every day. I do it once in a while, but it's powerful. But then if you want to do something, just start to also to trigger your brain. So go and check and change the setting of your email. You know, if you have Google email, you can make it dark or light, or you can ask Google to every day give a different background for the email. It's a simple step. What happened with that? You are telling your brain that you are okay with something different. You are okay to this creativity. Or go to your profile, LinkedIn or social media, and change it. Some of you and some of us are still having the same picture that we have, like, I don't know, 5-4 years. But Piero, is this creativity? Well, if you change once every year, probably not. But if you change every month, you need to be creative to see what else you want to put there. So you stimulate by being also challenge yourself in terms of that. Okay, the next C, curiosity. And curiosity, the best way to explain and to start practicing curiosity is to ask how. That's the key question. That's the key moment of sparking curiosity. Every time that we ask how, for us it's like, because if we ask why, on what, or where, sometimes the answer is very concrete, boom. But when you ask yourself how, then you start to discover things. If I will take a pen or pencil and I write the pen, I use the pencil to write or to draw, it's so easy. But when I start thinking about how it's possible that this pen writes, then my curiosity starts to go deeper and start seeing things. Yeah. And what happens with curiosity is expands our knowledge, expand our perceptions, and also our understanding, and give us a different dimension. So we see things from a completely different possibilities. Today at lunch, because I was already in the mood talking about curiosity, I realized that some of the crackers that I like to eat, they have little holes. So I asked myself, how these holes are necessary for this cracker. So, and I came with 3 or 4 theories. I don't know which one is correct. I don't care in this moment, but it's just exercise to be curious, Remember our numbers, yeah? The people that have numbers here, they would like to know this. There is no trick here. 12 plus 1, 13. 11 plus 2, 13. There is no change. I'm not going to come here with the non-binary 1.3, nothing. The curious part of this, and be ready to read, because I'm not going to read. Okay? You see the numbers here? Now read the next slide. Mind blowing for me, huh? I love it. I just love it. I have no explanation for this. Just love it. But by curiosity, I found this. I don't even remember where I found it. I'm not going to say I created. I just found it somewhere because I'm curious. And I say, wow, that's a good example. So let me share a couple of tips. How can you boost your curiosity? The first one, and this is going to be forever, ask questions. Ask questions. Every time, all the time. And ask the question with more explorative mentality. How? No? And of course, when somebody tells us something, you know that in some of societies, my society, for instance, if you ask too many questions to one person, you move from wanting to know to want to gossip. Yeah? So also socially, sometimes we are like, don't ask many questions because it's not polite, which is like, we need to deconstruct that part. Remember the first step, deconstruct, ask questions, and ask questions to yourself. Question what you are doing. Question if what you are doing, you can do it different. How are you doing things? Why you are doing things? Yeah. Then there is a couple of tips, action, movement, and you can do like when you go to the office or you go to the house or you go to the supermarket or you go anywhere you go, you can try a new way to go there. And that every time that you try something new, even if it's longer, you will start to discover something else. But of course, we always want to go to the same place, A to B, the fastest possible, the less traffic, the less noise, the whatever. The moment you start changing and you can go from different roads, you start to appreciate that, wow, life is different. And it's not only curiosity, but it will spark the creativity because you see something else. And the good news about curiosity is that the more that you practice curiosity, the more that you want more curiosity. So it's like exponential. You want more, you practice, you want more, and so on and so forth. Okay, before I move to the final one, is any burning question now? Okay, so I will move to the next one, which is be courageous. And be courageous, the first thing I want to say is this is a muscle. This is something you can train. Even if you feel you are not courageous enough and you want to be more courageous, you can train. And you can train by doing. Remember, the title of today is Thinking Differently, Doing Differently. Now we are in the doing. If we spark our creativity, if we boost our curiosity, if we start challenge our preconceptions, if we start looking the world beyond binary, at one point we need to act, we need to do something. And this is the moment to be courageous. And to be courageous, one important rule is you do not compare with nobody else. Because what for you is being courageous, for me might be not being courageous. Or the opposite, what for me is very courageous, for you is not. And one of the mistakes that we usually make is want to compare ourselves. Oh, I wish I will be so brave as, I don't know, as David, because David jumped from the parachute 3 times. Well, you could say that for me, being courageous is to be able to take a telephone and call the client in a language that is not my first language and I don't speak properly. Or being courageous is to be able to call the client and say, hey, I would like to do something for you, even if it's not the time. Okay? So those are, don't compare. Just think about yourself. How can I be more courageous? What can I do to be more brave? Do not compare to anyone because that's not the most important. If there was any question there? No. Uh, but also to be courageous, there are many ways to interpret that single word. And you see Winston Churchill say, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. I recognize that. Yeah, that's courageous. Some people will say, wow, that's very courageous. Um, Other people will say, well, courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Yeah. We have a couple of questions. Please, I'm listening to you.
Yes. So, what if you're comparing yourself with your past self or your own goals? Like, what if you're not comparing yourself to another person?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I will say the first thing is be kind with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Because also, if you were more courageous in the past and you are not so courageous today, it doesn't mean you cannot be back to the same level of courage that you had before. Okay? Because you need to train again. And what happened is then when we become, I'm talking about myself, become older and I see around my friends and my family, you become less courageous. You want to be more in the comfort zone. The more that you go out, the more that you can do it. So be kind with yourself when you compare, but remember that you can always go beyond even what you were before. Did I
To
answer?
me,
Hmm?
yes. To me, being curious is also connected to being fun. I mean, you're not this curious about something if you don't think it's funny or fun or you don't have joy with it. What if with the time you grow out of some habits, some likings, and you no longer find interest in these topics, that you no longer find curious because you no longer have fun with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right, and that's part of we need to deconstruct that part. Oh, I'm an adult now. I'm grown up. I should not do that. Like I remember when my daughter, when she was very tiny, she's the first. I have a daughter and a son. She's the firstborn, and she was just learning how to walk. And we were, I don't remember. It was in Peru, and we were walking in the sidewalk, and through the cement, it comes a little flower, a little grass, and for her it was so fantastic to see it. Wow! And then I bend and also start to observe again the flower. And for me, it was like, wow, I pass every day here to go to the office. I never saw the flower because I stopped being curious. And that's happened to us to everything. Just look around you. You are not curious anymore with the setup that you know because it's so familiar that you lost the creativity and the curiosity for that. There are two tips that I want to share with you. The first one is ask this question: what if and why not? Both of them at the same time. What if I start to be more courageous and why not? What if I write this letter to this application and why not? The what if give you a lot of enthusiasm and like ideas, and the why not, it challenges you to execute. Because whatever it is, you already have the no. Let's say that you want to apply to a new job. I'm not qualified. I don't have anything. What if they I apply and they choose me? And the question is why not? So do it. Do it. And the second one, to be more courageous, is try to do something a little bit extra today. You don't have to have a big step like I'm not courageous today. Now tomorrow I jump from the airplane in in the with the parachute. No, you can go step by step, step by step, step by step. And if somebody doubts that this is something useful, I have a number for you. I say I have a lot of numbers today, so I have a number for you. Look the difference when you change a little bit, just a little bit. The number grows exponential. So if you decide to be more courageous today by 5%, by 1%, at the end of the year, at the end of the month, at the end of 2 years, you are moving from here to here if that's the level of courage that you want to be. Tiny steps make you move forward. Summary, and with this I conclude. So I say we started talking about no binary thinking. We started to see the example of the glass half full, half empty. We see that there are many other possibilities. We saw some linear example of numbers, 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 1.1, 11, green with different colors. Then we say we need to be able to think different. We need to deconstruct what is already here. And for that, we can do it ourselves, but it's always good to boost the 3C, which are creativity, curiosity, and to be courageous. Um, and I think with that, I will stop the presentation here, and we have time for Q&A. Yes, I don't see everyone here, but
Okay,
yes,
I can answer.
please.
Sometimes when being so much curious and you know all the ways of doing like a certain thing, you struggle when to start being practical. Like you say, I want to choose this road or this road or this road. So I feel like I got stuck when I get so creative at solving some issues, but I struggle when I start to be practical, like choosing the right thing to do.
That's a good point. And do you trust your intuition, your gut feeling, or not?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But in the job preferences, it's less my intuition. I don't trust it.
Yeah. Sometimes we want perfection, and perfection kills action. No? And this I have it at home because my wife is a perfectionist. And just imagine I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just like good enough is good enough. Let's go. So sometimes we just need, you know what? Go. And when I talk about trusting your intuition, it's because sometimes it's so mental, it's so in the head, but you are feeling it here. You feel it. You know it's the right things to do it. Just do it. Then use the question, what if and why not? But I have a problem with the morning pages that I say to spark creativity, because then I got so many ideas. I was getting like, wow. And there are too many, I cannot make it practical. Yeah. So I need to balance also like, okay, Piero, and try to, for all these ideas, make some practical, but then you need to implement. There is somebody say that if you don't regret the first version of your idea, it's because you put the idea too late. No? For instance, if I write a blog, if I see my first blog and I don't say like, wow, what a crap, it means it took too long for me to do it. But I see the evolution of what I'm doing. Any other question? Comment? Yes, please go.
Hello, good evening. You can always recreate yourself. Don't ever accept the role they are put by people around you if you don't like it. You always can create yourself, experience new things, and discover the world. And that is my comment. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I think that's it. That's everything what we have discussed here is in that way. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
You just said about being a perfectionist. It's something that I struggled with for a while. That right now I'm trying to make it less, and I fear that I would somehow drop to the point of carelessness. How do I maintain that? How do I maintain balance between perfectionism and carelessness?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, probably if we go back to curiosity, I say ask ourselves questions. No, and that probably it will help to recenter again. And maybe the question is how? How can I regain this balance? Or how this is important for me? No, why? Because why you will find it so quickly. Yeah. Um, um, the point with our transformation journeys is that when we transform, we want to transform to a better version of who we are today. But sometimes when we arrive in a place, we look back and say, wow, somehow I prefer the Piero of 5 years ago. So therefore, I need to go back to say, okay, This Piero doesn't exist. The one exists today. How can I do again something else? So I need to challenge myself and say, okay, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's keep doing it. No, but the most important is it's at that moment is what I call vertical journeys. When I know more about who I am, the more than I can go back to the world. Like, okay, this is who I am. But the process of self-reflection, it's necessary. It's necessary. Thank you. Any other question? Open to everything. Just ask me anything if you want. We have like 5 more minutes. Yeah, please.
I have a question. When I was a teacher before, I read about something called the theory of multiple intelligences. And you said earlier that your mom tried to teach you all kind of arts, but at the end, she discovered that you're not good at that thing or that part. So I don't know. Some people say this theory is not correct, and we are able to learn anything, and human can learn anything if he decided to do that. So, what your thoughts about the multiple intelligences and those people who want to learn something that they are not talented in?
The very difficult question, but okay. So I believe that even myself, if I will manage to deconstruct that I'm not good in art and in music, I will manage to do something. But that is still too deep in my programming and in my hands, of course. No, but first in my in my programming. Um, but the more I see today, I see more people being more fluid, and by fluid means, today I'm need to be more rational. Today I need to be more linear. Today I be more ethereal, more everywhere. I think the most important is to acknowledge that we have the capacities to do everything we propose to do, either by our hands or by finding the way to do it. My first mission with MSF, with Doctor Without Borders, when I was doing the test to be logistician, they asked me if Piero, if the small generator break down in the middle of nowhere, you're in the middle of the conflict, and your team has no electricity, what can you do? And I say, like, listen, if you ask me if I can open the engine and fix it, I'm already telling you no. This is not who I am. I cannot do it. I have not that skills. But I will make sure that we find who is going to repair the generator, and I will find who can bring electricity to our compound if it's needed. And that's the way that for me, like, I know how practical I can do things, but also acknowledge my own limitations. Yeah? But you face sometimes people with enormous capacities, people that can do everything and everything so how good. And you admire these people. So I believe that the capacity we have, and when we have kids, we want them to try everything. So I try them. No, I didn't try that, but my wife put them also in music and in art, and I was like, oh, again, we are going to face the same issue like with me. But you see them because the creativity, because they're doing something. So they have the capacity to do more things in life. So all these multi-personalities, multi-brains, multi-capacities is all in us. It's just that some people have a bit different degree. They are already more advanced than we are, than I am as well. So I don't think it's a limitation. It's just a part of who we are. And the most important is how can we use, what part do we use for what is needed? No? And sometimes, for instance, like I present now myself as a motivator of change because it's something I do. I like to accompany people, but I present myself as a nonconformist and a disruptor. And sometimes when I present my proposals, people don't understand what I'm proposed, or they are afraid of something because it's different. I could just say, I'm going to be more conventional because I need the job, I need the money, I go in there. but I say it's not who I am. So I prefer to be more aligned to what I'm doing. And because of that, sometimes I struggle, of course. But then it makes more, like somebody was saying, I feel that it's part of who I am and enjoy it. I'm having fun for doing that. Any other question or comment, or somebody want to reflect about something that they know? Yes.
Does doing things differently means having multi passions for stuff? Like you approach stuff from a different angle. Like being a programmer, you could approach it from, let's say, a logical perspective, or being a creative one, like to create new stuff. Does that means how to do differently?
Yeah. Yeah. If you are a programmer and sometimes it's the same, what about if you try something different next time? What if and why not? Huh? We don't need to be multitasking all the time, but just sometimes just that one, that little change. But now because now you are thinking, how can I do it? Maybe you are going to try something. Yeah, I expect you to try something, and of course, then it's a company. Then let's see, then things doesn't go properly. And I'm reading a book now that is say that the smart failure are the ones that you face when you do something that you don't know the answer, or is different to you. When you make mistakes, it's because you know you should not drive in that way because it's in the wrong way, but you do it. That's a mistake. But sometimes when you open a road, you don't know what is going to face there, and you face a blockage or you face whatever. That one, it's you learn. Okay, next time I don't take this road. The same happen in our life. If we just keep doing the same without thinking, we don't do it. But if we try something else, oh, it didn't work. But I learned I have the capacity to do something different. So don't expect that the first thing you do different, boom, that's it. Wow, you are the next level. No, no, no. Maybe it doesn't work. But it doesn't matter the product, doesn't matter the goal yet. What is important is the process. The process that you decide, I want to do something different. I try something different. I learn I can do something different. Maybe this one was not a good one. Next one will be. Thomas Alva Edison, when he created the bulb, the lamp, he said before, I failed, it was 1,000 times. It doesn't mean I fail. Doesn't mean I found 1,000 times that it doesn't work. Thank you. Anas?
Thank you, Pedro. I want to add on this point, everyone here, that eventually, like nowadays, especially when we start to becoming older and adults, we do things without thinking. Like there is a lot of things we just do because we learned since a younger age to do them. Um, I have the same routine every day, the same routine that I do because it's just how I do things, like how I function. I need my coffee, I need my water, etc., 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 until I sleep, and then I repeat the same the next day. And with the laptops, with the phones, and with all the technology, sometimes we, without noticing, create a fixed pattern. And this is was like one of the aims of this session, to try and see, like reflect, each one of us reflect on this fixed pattern, the pattern that you do every day. How does it look like? What things that is like you just do without thinking about, and see how they affect your day. Maybe doing things in a different way, try doing them in a different way, will not only change how the day will go, but only, also remind your mind that you are the controller of your life. You choose what to do. And if you do things differently, then if you start thinking about them differently, you will do differently. So maybe some small changes in the routine that you do on a daily basis, um, can reflect on the way you see things and the way you do things as well. So I'll invite you as well to like reflect on how your routine, like what time you sleep, what time you wake up, how you do the things you do every day, and see what things are worth to change maybe and play a bit here and there. And then this is how you also like reflect with your mind and show your mind that you can do things differently, and also your mind unconsciously will start look at things differently, and maybe creativity or new ideas, new paths will start opening up for you. This is like I don't know, maybe the Western way of looking at things. Like we have a different approach here. Like this is, but yeah, it's worth considering and worth thinking about. Thank you, Peru, for this insightful event. I took lots of notes that I will use in my
Thank you.
daily
Thank you. I think
listening.
there is one more question, Anna, just before we finish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ask
yeah.
them.
Let's do it.
Muhammad,
Oh, Muhammad.
Muhammad, you
I
can
think he
ask your
forgot to
question.
put his hand down before he asked a question earlier, and his hand was
Okay.
still up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to finalize, also, I mean, I don't like routines. I get tired. I need to change. Like, I working from home, so 3 months the table is here, the next day is there. But this week I work with the white wall in behind. The next week I work somewhere else. I need this change. At the same time, I'm very organized person. If you see my computer, everything is filed, everything is organized, everything is here, because that for the administration of my business, everything is organized. Because if I have this organized, I can be free to do other things as crazy as I want. So I also need my copy mechanism to stimulate my creativity, my curiosity. First, let's put the most important, well done, organized, and then the other thing I can just fly. Okay. So that's it. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And I'm because I'm mentor of TAP, so feel free to contact me. Feel free to any question. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to connect to me in LinkedIn. I'm here. Just feel free. Feel free. I will share a non-PowerPoint of my presentation, because if we do something different, it has to be different. And in the same email, I will share a couple of reading documents in case somebody wants to go deeper in some techniques. Okay?